Những lúc anh bước ra đường, vui tung tăng đi xuống phố, đôi khi anh nghĩ nhố ơi những đứa bạn thân, nhiều người đẹp nhìn theo, cứ muốn đến làm quen. Dù anh tự tin vẫn ngại lắm nha, không xem như siêu anh hùng, không tôn cao như bình minh, không đô la hay sông núi, nhưng chẳng thua một ai. Vì mỗi ngày dần trôi, anh mang đến cho đời niềm vui cuộc sống, cùng tiếng khóc cười, khiến cho đời say lắc lư theo điệu nhạc thế gian hạnh phúc. Anh đã trôi xoay ca, trái tim anh ấm áp, gắt trên môi nụ cười cất lên lời hát. Vì anh là xoay ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, chơi là không lo lắng, không phải đi hay nam. Vì anh là xoay ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, nơi nào vui anh đến sáng và không xếp. Vì anh là soái ca, yêu là yêu thiết tha, yêu là anh chẳng gì không, yêu là anh rất lâu. Vì anh là soái ca, nên dù cho má là anh vẫn phải như thế. Mọi người đừng có treo chọc anh. Những lúc anh bước ra đường, vui tung tăng đi xuống phố, đôi khi anh nghĩ nhớ với những đứa bạn thân, nhiều người đẹp nhìn theo, cứ muốn để làm quen. Dù anh tự tin vẫn ngại lắm nha, không siêu nhân siêu anh hùng, không to cao như bình minh, không đô la hay sông núi, nhưng chẳng thua một ai. Vì mỗi ngày dần trôi, anh mang đến cho đời niềm vui cuộc sống, cùng tiếng khóc cười, khiến cho đời say lắc lư theo điệu nhạc thế gian hạnh phúc. Anh đã trôi xoay ca, trái tim anh ấm áp, cất trên môi nụ cười cất lên lời hát. Vì anh là soái ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, chơi là không lo lắng, không phải đi hay nam. Vì anh là soái ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, nơi nào vui anh đến sáng và không xếp. Vì anh là soái ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, chơi là không lo lắng, không phải đi hay nam. Vì anh là soái ca, chơi là chơi hết ca, nơi nào vui anh đến sáng và không xếp. Vì anh là soái ca, yêu là yêu thiết tha, yêu là anh trong lòng, yêu là anh rất lâu. Vì anh là soái ca, đừng cho má lòng, anh vẫn phải như thế. Mọi người đừng có treo chọc anh là soái ca, yêu là yêu thiết tha, yêu là anh trong lòng, yêu là anh rất lâu. Vì anh là soái ca, đừng cho má lòng, anh vẫn phải như thế. Mọi người đừng có treo chọc anh mà. Mọi người đừng có treo chọc anh mà. Mọi người đừng có treo chọc anh nha.
That was Mr. Dam, Vietnamese song. I saw Mr. Dam at Foxwoods a couple years ago, and when he first came out with that song, it was great. Loved it, and hope you enjoyed that too. It's a nice song. It kind of builds. It's very fun. Might play another song today too. Try to get in a couple songs. Everybody loves songs. Makes everybody feel good. Yeah. Got that all queued up, ready to go. So, yeah, the news today. Thank you for watching. We got a bunch of people already tuning in. The news, yes. It's great. Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett is in the news, of course. This is not going to end. This is not going to end. The police were picketing, whatever, protesting today in Chicago. Anyone visit Chicago yesterday or today? No, I don't think so. Why? Why not? Maxine Waters says it was correct, quote, correct thing for Jussie Smollett charges to be dropped. I don't know what else to say about this. Here they are. Aren't they beautiful? They're a nice couple. Yeah. Maxine Waters, what a hater. Impeach 45, impeach 45. She started saying that the day he got elected. Traitor. Maxine Waters. Okay. So, yeah, the same old endless fear mongering by CNN and the media. I always try to watch a little of it just so I can get some material for the show. Trump is threatening to close the border. He's building the wall where there is no problem. Racist. Russia. You know what really scares me, though, is that the left, some of these people that are running for president, seriously want to completely open the border. So we have no borders at all. That is the most fearful thing that I can imagine. That's scary. That's really scary. Juan Vargas, Democratic California congressperson, he commented regarding the closing of the border. The guy looks psychotic. I don't know. Did you see him when he? I've seen pictures of him before, but yesterday when he was on the news, I mean, the guy looked really psychotic. His eyebrows were like two Hitler mustaches. Hitler eyebrow guy. That'd be a good one. Trump ought to come up with something there. It'd be beautiful. Anyway, he said regarding closing the border, it's the stupidest thing since Trump commented on raking the leaves in the forest. What an idiot. I mean, what an absolute idiot. I mean, this guy's from California. He should know about this. Let me give you some history. About 40 years ago, there was a big, and I've already talked about this. I talked about this before, and bang, here it is. It's like we're ahead. We know what's coming. 40 years ago, they had this, you can't kill a tree, psychotic thing going on. It started 40 years ago, and it continued right up until recently. And it's okay to kill children and abortion and all that. That's fine, but don't kill a tree. And I already discussed this before. So here's this guy saying that, commenting on reasonable forestry procedures is a crazy thing. So what happened 40 years ago is whenever there was started happening 40 years ago is whenever there was a tree was sick, they would do whatever it took to bring the tree back to life. And if there was a fire, forget it. We had to attack the fire and put out the fire And it didn't matter who died trying to put out the fire. You had to put out the fire because you can't let a tree die. It was a major thing, and it went on for 40 years. It started in the 70s. And so what's happened over those 40 years is the forest has grown so thick, and it's just unnatural, really. Because naturally, forests burn. About 8 million acres burn just from lightning strikes and such forth every year. And this is a normal recycling that happens. And when the trees, what happens is the trees get too thick. And then when there is a lightning strike in one of those areas, it just automatically says, this is just too much here, we burn, and it burns. And then what's left isn't a problem. There's a clearing, and then it just starts to regrow naturally. Love that word, naturally. Humans are natural too, as we know. But because they kept putting it out, the forest got thicker and thicker and thicker. So now when there's a fire, it burns so hot that they can't put it out. And then people die. People die. That's not good when people die. And it also costs a lot of money. And houses get burnt down. But not only that, but because it burns so hot, the soil actually burns, and then nothing else can grow there. So the trees don't regrow. But then it even gets worse. Because nothing's regrowing there, when there's rain, and it rains in California, it pours. And when it does, landslides, and then more people and devastation and death. So, Juan Vargas, you're from California, man. You're an idiot. Don't you know the forestry problem you're having there? Step it up, brother. You got to be like Pennsylvania. They're beautiful there. They have beautiful forests. If they get too thick, they just light it, burns, regrowth. No problem. To the left, yeah, they're really good. They know what they're doing. Yeah, I watched Fareed Zakaria last night. I've seen him before. Everything this guy says is fear-mongering. Every single thing. And not just what he says, which are all lies and twists, and really, if you pay attention, but the way he says it. It's like everything he says, it doesn't matter. He could be talking about Mary Poppins. It just sounds so scary. He's like the devil. I mean, it's really bizarre. Let me see if I can do him. This is what he said last. One of the things he said. He's just going on and on. But I'll just try to do. Are Donald Trump's actions in office now illegitimate presidential behavior? Yes. He's perfect. What are you talking about? What an idiot. All right. Yeah, I talked about Joe Biden last night. I told you, he's done. Okay, so he's front news. Another woman comes forward today. She says that Biden grabbed her, pulled her in close in an incredibly uncomfortable encounter. He made someone feel uncomfortable. He's finished. He's toast. Biden's finished. The Me Too movement is going to crush him. Sorry, Joe. You know, so yeah, Biden showed affection. And we don't want to, the left doesn't like affection. They don't. They like to kill babies, things like that. They don't like affection. So Bernie Sanders responded to Biden's showing of affection. And remember, you'll see, I warned you about this yesterday. Yesterday we talked about this. This is with Bernie Sanders' response to Joe Biden because he hugged someone. He says, we need to fundamentally change the culture of this country. We need to fundamentally change the culture of this country because Joe Biden hugged someone. No, Bernie, we don't. And we won't. Screw you. Not happening. We need to preserve our culture and our borders. On the same note, actor Omari Hardwick kisses Beyonce 2 times. Who wants to hear what Yo Baby Trag said about that? Who wants to hear? Does anyone want to hear? Come on. Someone give me a yes. I'm not going to say it. You know what I'll do? I'll play the video for you. This is what Yo Boy Trag said.
That nigga rush over there to kiss her, didn't he? Look, then he trying to kiss her. He almost. Her whole yam got wet. Jay-Z, you should whoop his ass after going back watching this shit. Look, all y'all need to go to that motherfucker's page and all on it. The fuck you got? This nigga really fresh, ain't he? How her skin smell, nigga? Look at it. Jay-Z a fucking a damn mysterious camel. You should kill that nigga, Jay-Z. Ain't that? Come on, play them games. That's disrespect, nigga. Look. I'm gonna get that pussy tonight, baby. Look. Yo, you can't trust niggas like this, I'm telling you. That's some bullshit. Bearded niggas ain't shit. It's your boy Trag.
So yeah, that was Yo Boy Trag saying it like his description of that action. So as you can see, the whole affection towards women thing is could be taken by some as very extremely offensive. So be careful who you show affection to. Oh, it's my boy Albert. Okay, so Albert, I'm doing the show right now. Why don't you call me later, all right? Right, thank you. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't want to turn that off. Sorry about that. Donald Trump helping the black community again. Tonight he's participating in the 2019 Prison Reform Summit. Obama should have done something like that. But Trump's a racist. Bullshit. Okay. Oh, Jesus is in the news today. We just talked about him yesterday. And here he is. Oh, actually, he's in the news twice today. Can't make this stuff up. Pennsylvania Democrats say Allah is fine, Jesus is not. God, that's all I'm going to say about that one. I mean, you guys can look that up. Pennsylvania. Also, Jesus in the news today. Leonardo da Vinci's painting of Jesus, worth $450 million, purchased by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, is missing. Oops. So that's it for the news portion. I have a little commentary today, not too much. Didn't have too much preparation today. Busy. I was at the laundromat all day, watching the clothes go around. So I'm exhausted. We were talking about, of course, diversity and cultural differences and things like that. So when you're talking to someone and you want them to understand what you're talking about, and so maybe you might start talking a little bit like them, maybe, I don't know, can be different, many different forms when you're trying to communicate with someone in a way that they can understand, especially if they're foreign or they're whatever, okay? So when you do that, when you're trying to include someone in the conversation or help them understand what you're saying by possibly changing your tone, your mannerisms, or your whatever in your communication, is that somehow bad or is that good? Is that mimicking, or is it in some way even conforming to their cultural differences? So something to think about. I have a couple of examples. When I talk to people on the phone, sometimes for some reason when I'm talking to it at work here, there'll be these girls that I'm talking to. Nothing against girls. Love girls. Love them. But I'll be talking to these, especially these girls, and they're like mice. You can barely hear them. And so what I found that works well is I've tried to tell them, hey, can you speak louder? For some reason that they reject that. They don't like that. It doesn't work. But what I found that works though is to just talk really low, really low, and then get their attention. Yeah. And then they start to listen, and then they start to talk louder. I don't even tell them that they're talking low. I just talk lower than them. But that's not really conforming to them in a, it's kind of an odd way to get to communicate with them. But how about when you do something like just copy them in a way to communicate with them? Like obviously, when I lower my voice and copy them, that doesn't help us hear each other, but at least it brings out, it shows what the problem is. And then they start to talk louder. So that works that way. But let's say it's something different. Let's say it's a cultural thing. Okay, I'm going to give you a story, and then you guys can comment and tell me what you think. I think it's funny. Who knows? Probably a racist. I was living in Memphis 3 years, going to law school there, and I was out one night, and then we were heading back, me and a friend of mine, and we pulled into Sonic. Love Sonic. Sonic burgers, they're great. They don't have them around here. I don't know why. Maybe where I am, anyway, we don't have them. So I pull into Sonic, and we're going through the drive-thru. The thing about the drive-thru is the person who's taking the order, they can't see you, right? They're just on the microphone. And so I pull up and I said, 6 burgers, 2 fries, and 2 Cokes. And the girl says, you want cheeseburgers or hamburgers? And I was like, just hamburgers. So do you want onion rings, or you want French fries? Did you want Coca-Cola? I mean, it just went on, and it just did question after question. And so finally, I look at my friend, and I'm like, we got to do something different here. This just isn't working. So I adapted to her cultural differences. And I said, yo, baby, you give me six burgers and 2 fries and 2 Cokes, and you just give them to me now. You know what she said? That'll be $7.84. Please pull up. Bingo. So we pulled up, and we have to go around the building. We get on the other side, and there's these 2 black girls hanging out of the window, with smiles on their face. And then here comes me and my cracker friend, two crackers, come around the corner, and we pull up to them, and then they're looking behind us, and all confused. So, I was just trying to communicate with them, and it was totally worked. And so I don't know, when you do something like that, I was talking to someone today, and I don't know, when you go into a certain party and there's let's say a black tie party, so you change your clothes, is that mimicking or offensive? No, I don't think so. Maybe you guys can comment. Or if you go, I don't know, to a loud party and it's just loud music, and so you're talking loud. Are you being loud and offensive? Well, no, it's loud. No one will hear you. You don't talk louder. So that's interesting. I mean, if you go to Saudi Arabia, we talked about this before. Are you gonna act all foolishly American and do crazy shit and get your head chopped off? Or are you gonna conform to their cultural differences and maybe try to communicate that with them on a way that is effective and congenial to their society and their rules? I would highly suggest that if you do go there. So anyway, okay, something to think about. That's pretty much it. I'm gonna, for the end of the night, I'm gonna give you a deep thought comment. I got a couple written down right now. Which one am I gonna give you tonight? Okay, everything is learned. That's pretty much it. So that's it for tonight. Have a safe night.